That's Rich. Welcome to my blog. Akvile and I are going to talk about entity stuff and how entities almost kicked our ass the other day. We kicked back. It's like fucking big crazy shit's been going on as we're doing this entity work. But also, um, we've been doing uh, past life work and soul contract revocation stuff and soul fragment retrieval all in one fucking session. One session. We're doing it fucking. We're doing all of it. It's like, what are you fucking doing? You can't do that. Nobody's done that. Nobody's doing that shit. You can't be doing that shit. And we're going after these entities. And the reason is because you can see that shit fucking crystal fucking clear. Wait, when I ask you to like look for an entity and you see,
Which one?
yeah, I know. It's like, which one? When I say, well, is there an incident of of another causing you, that whatever the fuck? Do you see like just a little image here, a big image? What do you see when I like if I ask you right now? Let's just do it right now. Focus. Okay, Akvile, could you focus in on a spacecraft that has a friendly human ET on it right now? Can you do that? Just give it a moment.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's ask her, what the fuck did she see? Because if you ask me that, I'm going like, bam, it's there, it's gone. I saw it. It was like, you know how, this is terrible, but you know how like in these old Japanese videos of when the place got nuked, and sometimes you'll see like a burned shadow, vague shadow of somebody on the wall. Just ashes, right? And there's nothing left on the wall. It's concrete wall, but kind of a burn mark looking place. It's like creepy shit, but it's like a vague image of what was there. That's my image when I see shit. That's it. I can focus in and I can get all the details, but I can do it one little step at a time. What do you see when I ask you about your ET thing?
Uh,
Yeah.
Medium-sized spaceship. Like I guess like 200, 300 meters. I don't know how many it's gonna be in feet.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there's a lounge and like it's pretty light. Like the walls and the light and everything is like the like whitish, more like white and gray, and there's like orange stripes, and the walls, like that's the design, and like lots of rooms, 3 levels, 175 rooms in the ship. Like there's a little, you know, like warehouse or storage place, like where they have like little ships and pods where they can like just drop out people or beings out of the ship and stuff. Like there's lots.
Yeah. Wow. Now, if you were to go through that ship right now and like talk to somebody, can you hear them talking and stuff? Yeah. Is it like, do you hear the audio and stuff?
Yeah, for me it's super simple because like when you tell me something, I basically shift the consciousness. Like part of me is gonna be here so that I'm aware I'm hearing you now, but part of me shifts there, so I have both the visuals, the sounds, the feelings. Like I'm experiencing several things at the same time, like this physical and the other place that I'm in. Like as always.
Wow.
People can tell me stories like how they were going to the mall or doing something, and I will be like right there with them. you know,
Wow.
silly.
The way I would, some of my theories or philosophy on what's happening is that you're able to tap into the holographic multiverse, because that's all it is. All of this is holographic and it's created by thought. And some of it is technology enhanced, but it's all through thought. And the this thing we call the Akashic record, or we call the mind of God. It's the the past, present, and future, every nanosecond of the experience, future and past, multiple timelines. Um, if you can focus in on one of these timelines or one of these events, past, present, or future, and you have the ability that you have, it's like you see it, you're there. It's that simple. And it's like, why can you see that? Well, it's the Akashic record. It's the record of everything, sort of thing. So you can do that. Is my theory on what it is and what's going on.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
For me, it's like I like us working together because I might have the visuals, I might have the experience, but it's more like you have the knowledge. So I can, whatever I can find out over there and learn, I bring out here and I tell you all about it. And then you get like your light bulb goes on, you know, like even more about it. You can tell me. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a way of tapping into that knowing thing too. But when you do this kind of guided work, it works better guided because, well, I'm talking to Akvile, giving her guidance, or look at this, go over there, ask this question, you know, look at this detail, look for a reptilian, or look for a gray, or look for the AI or something. I'm doing the guiding, and I have to use analytical thought here, processing here. I'm like awake in the physical world, and my wavelength is like beta, and there's a little bit of alpha or some other shit going in the background for me, but I've got a lot of my analytical beta brainwave stuff going to analyze what to do next. Now, if you're traveling, like Akvile is traveling, you don't want to be having your analytical beta brainwave shit going, because that will draw you back to here and put too much of your attention and focus here. So it works better if the traveler or the remote viewer or the out-of-body traveler doesn't have to try to, and like, okay, what should I do next? Or what I'm going to, what now? No, I just give her some guidance, look for this, do that. And then she can just get involved doing that. That's my theory on why and how the guide helps make it work better.
I like it.
You like it? Good.
Yeah, like
Good.
when we're doing these sessions together, like your guidance is useful. Like, I see too many things. You're like asking, okay, like focus on the entities, and I'm like, okay, there's entities inside my body, around us. There's a space. I see spaceships. There's a planet. There's this and that, and like I see them all. Like I'm just like tracking all of it. And then you told me what to focus on, like exactly, like not everything, but just one thing. So like this focus helps.
Yeah. That's the thing too, because the way the mind is set up, the subconscious mind, it compartmentalizes pain and unconsciousness, but it also has a great filing system for that pain and unconsciousness. And if you're going to go after a traumatic incident in a past life, you want to be able to stay focused on that one specific kind of pain, or because you don't want to get into all your shit all at once, because your filing system will bring it on. And you will recall and re-stimulate too much of your subconscious stuff. And you normally feel it like unhappy feeling, sad, bummed, tired, too much, overwhelmed, all that stuff. So you need to be able to guide the traveler and help them focus their attention and keep it focused on one thing that you're after, whether it's pain or unconsciousness, or whether it's, building fences, doesn't matter. But you want to be able to help keep that attention focused, so they don't, their attention doesn't go all over the place. So that's another thing we do.
Yeah. And for me, like, I can really relate to it, because like lately we've been doing sessions and they've been getting harder because like we're doing a whole lot more work than we used to. And so,
Hmm.
for example, we concentrate on an issue or something, and I instantly recall my past life related to it, like some earlier incident or something. And so,
Hmm.
uh, we can just like address it, and I've already seen it, and I get like super tired all of a sudden. It's like they're sleepy tired, and we're going through the session and all kinds of steps, and like later we address the past life, and once we go through those incidents, like probably a few times, and just find even like earlier and earlier, like the earliest, like all those, and like after I go through most of them, or find like the earliest, like finally I start waking up. Like I've been through it, I've experienced it again, I've been able to let it out, talk it out, so notice something new about it. And once we're done with the process, like all the sleepy tired goes away, and I'm awake again. So it's amazing how this just it all works. It's really amazing.
Yeah, it releases literally. It releases in laughter or big sighs or yawns, or sometimes you'll stretch and you'll feel better. But you wake up and also heat off of your body and stuff. But it does release when you do it right. If you did it wrong, it'll really fuck you up.
Yeah.
It will, man. I don't want to do this shit anymore. This is no fucking fun. I've done like a few hundred hours of the past life stuff.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, getting the sessions. So it kind of opens up your memory, and so now you get to feel for it. So I can recall all kinds of times and places. Just give me a number of years ago, it'll come right up, and it'll Akvile can do that too, but and you want to be not just what were you doing 365,753,000 years ago. Bang, I got something, and Akvile probably does too, but well, it's like, well, how many weeks, months, and minutes? What are you asking for? What do you want to see exactly? I did a lot in that year, years, that many years ago. I wasn't just like, oh, I sat on a fucking rock for 5 years. No. So you want to be very precise, depending on what you're doing, um, but you learn a lot when you do it. But I don't see the visuals as well as Akvile does. I can get all the details, but I have to go through the incident several times and pay particular attention to one thing, and then I'll see it. But I have to really have that guidance. And once you learn how to do this, you can do it solo. You can do it on your own, but it's a lot harder to deal with. If you have somebody you can, after you go through that stuff, and you can open your eyes and go, whoa, let me tell you what just happened. It feels better to get something off your chest. You just say it. Oh man, you won't believe how bad my day was at work. It was like, oh my God, I gotta tell somebody. It's that phenomena. So when you look at your past life incident, you go, if you can just like open your eyes and somebody's there listening because they've been your guide there, and you go, and you feel better because it does. It releases. So it's like that.
Yeah, I like it. And like for me, when we're doing this sort of work, we can just address the item. And like if I count on the past life, for example, and we are just talking about an issue, you're just talking about it, and like, hey, what if this and that, and you might ask me a question, and while asking me a question, I already had clicked on the gone through the incident, like just let's take a few hour incident, every single detail, all the conversations, every action, every single detail of the room or surroundings, all kinds of things, while you are asking the question.
Yeah.
you know so for me, like, I have great visuals, but it also takes a lot of confront because there are some really bad things going on sometimes. Like it's traumatic, it hurts and stuff. And the way I am, like, I'm more of an empath, so I experience it all over again, and like it takes a lot of confront to be able to experience it and like uh, feel it again, think of it again, and then express it and just let it out. Because
Uh-huh.
sometimes it's like it can be really bad.
Yeah. Well, what are some of the changes you've noticed in yourself since doing this kind of work?
Well, we've been addressing certain subjects that have to do with other people, specific people in my life, and I notice that now when I interact with them, my whole the way I perceive them, the way I feel around them is not as bad as it was. Because just meeting that specific person will like it really get me locked up, triggered, and feeling bad, suppressed, and like there were like a lot of things going on. And now it's like just we're just passing through, and like nothing happens. I'm like in my own world, but I don't get triggers anymore. So that's good. Like that's a few days after the session. Also, I think like I'm like harder to be triggered, and um, just feeling better about myself. Easier to talk, easier to express myself. Just that stronger, free feeling inside.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was going to be another short video because who watches a video after 10 fucking minutes, right? So we're right around 10 minutes. At the beginning, I mentioned something about entities, and then we got kind of sidetracked.
Yeah.
So just to wrap it up here, this last few minutes, talk more about entities. Things I've learned working with you about this entity stuff is how they work. And this is quick and dirty. Some of the ways they work, there's all sizes and levels of entities, like reptilians, 18-foot tall fucking creatures on spaceships, and to like smart dust, stuff you inhale, it comes from the chemtrails and stuff. That stuff is programmable. That's why I call it smart. And not only do you have particles, nano-sized particles, but there's entities that size as well. It's just like a one live cell from a blood cell. It's alive. So that you've got life essence in it, not just physical blood pumping or something. It's the essence, the consciousness, the spirit. There's life in that. Programmed to survive and all that stuff. So the advanced technology, these ETs, extraterrestrials, it's been doing this stuff for millions and millions and millions and billions of years of how to control and dominate others, have refined the technology on how to program clusters of entities, nano-sized entities, and bigger, size of your fist, the size of your fucking head, pumpkin. Well, not pumpkin, but watermelon. All kinds. And they can be like entities and demons in your space that you can see, like Akvile can see those pretty clearly, but they can be little bitty things like this, or they can look like clouds in your space, or dark spots in your space. When you can look closer into them, you can see more clearly what they are. And they usually have an agenda. If they're in your space, they have an agenda. There's some agreements that you've made that are somehow relating to them that allow them into your space. That's why a soul contract revocation technique will help get rid of entities in your space. But there's all kinds of ways and techniques to get rid of them, and they're messing with us in so many different ways. Okay, so what we've been learning is the hierarchy sort of thing. Do you want to share the hierarchy as you?
No, you go on.
Oh, okay. So we got this nano-sized shit in our body. We wake up and feeling like crap. We have this stupid thought that makes us feel bad, and we go, well, what if? We have a bad dream. You wake up feeling like, well, the way this entity stuff is programmed is that they can trigger an emotion in us, and then that will fire up the entity essence, the spirit or the thought essence of the entity or the entity cluster. And now it's just like a zombie or a freaking hypnotic, something under a hypnotic trance, and it's just doing what it's been programmed to do. And so it will create a feeling or an urge or a belief or a fear or something in you, and you'll feel it because you can't tell the difference between your thoughts and its, because it's blended, your feelings and its feelings. But what we can do is turn off we're like done thinking that thought. We can turn it off, except it's still there because we turned off our thought, but we didn't turn off the entity or the cluster thinking, but we think it's our thinking. So then our thinking says that we didn't turn off that thought when you did. So now you're living the lie of, I can't turn off my thought. And then you're living in limitation because you're living in the lie of what you believe about your own thoughts and feelings. But if we were left alone without this entity infestation, archon infestation, then we would be more empowered because we empower ourselves through our thinking, or we limit ourselves through our thinking. We think it and then we agree with what we're thinking. Either it's limiting or it will be liberating. So anyway, we trigger this entity stuff. Now it's making a feeling or a thought thing in us, and it just keeps coming back and coming back. So these things, if you start getting on, you start figuring it out and start doing the entity work, you can blow this entity stuff away. You spot the truth of it, and it will take off for its own survival reasons, because we're so powerful. When we look at stuff, it is affected by our thoughts and our emotions and feelings. So if we know what to do and how to do it, we can spot what it is about our relationship with that entity or that cluster of entities, and it will leave. Or we can forcefully eliminate it or move it out of our system. But it's like Wi-Fi. It's phoning home and say, busted.
Yeah.
And it kind of like red flags another level, a higher order of entity or archon or being, which often are the grays. Could be a demon entity, as a big, in and of itself, as opposed to these micro fucking entity things. But then higher up from the demon stuff, you would find the grays, extraterrestrial, interdimensional grays, kind of doing the grunt work, and being the minions for the reptilians, or higher levels of grays, tall grays, others like that. But then ultimately you got the reptilians, and then the reptilian entities, and they're all working in the non-physical, next universe out. I got it right so far? Is the way you see it? Okay. And also, Courtney Brown, in one of his books, the remote viewer guy, he also talks about in his remote viewing that he spotted this level of entities, not the micro stuff, but the grays, the taller grays, and the reptilians. And also in the Gnostic teachings, we've got the grays and we've got the reptilians. And it's all non-physical, but there's another realm outside of this that's very real. People that get out of body know it. They can walk around in these different realms and reality systems, universes. And this is where these reptilians also operate. So sometimes there are this AI, artificial intelligence, is involved. What we've noticed in our research so far is sometimes the AI will be top dog in a particular thing that's affecting Akvile that we've been working on. Or sometimes there'll be the AI, but there'll be some other higher order of entity in charge of, or something to do with the AI. So it's been going both ways in that. Yeah. So far, so good.
Yep.
Yeah.
On top of all those, all the AIs, reptilians, and others, I've also met Demiurgus, Archons, Marduk was an interesting one. Other entities that look like more of a tortoise, or just like a turtle, but like a different. It's not a good one. It's not a good entity because it's a pretty good empath. It knows our emotions, but it's like really working with the dark side and ratting us out so that they can mess with us.
Yeah. So the way we deal with it, you have to approach it from the perspective that you are a very powerful being, because you are. Or you wouldn't even be interested in this conversation if you couldn't relate to this. And if you can relate to it, you're going to be a pretty high level being in the other universes. And from there, you kind of get in touch with your power. You know who you are, and what you can do relative to what they are and how they can operate. And they don't have an imagination. They can't create the world they live in, including their physical bodies or their next universe out bodies. I mean, they can create them with technology and that sort of stuff, but they can't imagine themselves into existence. They can't travel without technology, space travel. They can't consciousness shift from one place to another without their technology. And so we've gotten deceived over millions and millions of years. We've agreed to this and agreed to that, and we forgot this and we forgot where this and how we did this and why that, and it gets all and sometimes we'll do things and we feel bad about it, and then we'll limit ourselves because, oh, I'll never do that again, I'm so sorry. You know, we do all this stuff back and forth, but so many billions of years go by of being a very powerful being, and you get caught up in your limitation. Or you came from a very powerful place and you go, I got to get down there and help people wake up and help them get free of this disgustingly painful, miserable, eternal life they're going to keep living if they keep going back and reincarnating into the physical realm. So I want to help. So you come from this really high place, but you got to agree consciously to dumb yourself down, forget, put yourself in limitation, and and then you get born in a physical body like this, and you're just dumb as a rock, just like everybody else. And then it's a challenge, but you learn how to wake yourself up, as would somebody that's been trapped for a very long time. And you go, this is how you can do it. Do what I did, sort of thing. And so everybody, there's a lot of beings, I think, that are here right now. They're enlightening, waking people up, sharing information on different levels, and different people need different kinds of information to wake up. And as we do wake up, more people wake up, and then more and more. And that's kind of the plan, to help the people that intend to wake up, want to break free of this, believe there's something greater, better than Earth life and Earth experience and the physical reality system of experience. For these people, these kinds of beings, people like you and me and Akvile, we're here to make that happen in one generation or another. We're here. This is what we do. And there's so many good people working on this on so many levels. And that's what we've been learning, and that's what we've been involved in lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And something I wanted to ask is that we as people are really powerful. Like all the archons and all the entities out there, they are not even close to who you are and all your capabilities. They can do something to you with technologies, with their entities, with their thoughts. They can affect your surroundings, affect people, affect thoughts, feelings, emotions. But if you don't give them control, if you control yourself, they can't mess with you. Like we are that powerful. We can unlock them, undo them with a single thought. All their fleets, like 100,000 spaceships, and like messing with you or whatever. Like you can take a million of these, and it'll take you one thought to get rid of them all. You're that powerful. So for us, like we were talking about in the beginning of the video how we were doing sort of work, the entity removal and soul retrieval work and like soul counter provocation, all different things. And as we've been working more and more, we've been targeting a lot of entities, a lot of reptilians, and just making big changes out there for ourselves in our own universes. And what happened is that the more change we did, the more they started targeting us because they did not like how we're constantly every day, like few hours a day, messing with them. They did not like that at all, and they started like messing with people around us, messing with our surroundings, messing with our connection, like different things, messing with our thoughts, our feelings, emotions, like enhancing our things. Because Rich and I, we talked about those entities and how they can affect you. So I just like want to add my part to this whole thing because I've been like doing like a lot of this exploration and stuff. All those like nanoparticle size entities inside you, they're basically tracking you 24/7. Your thoughts, your feelings, your energy, who you are, what you want to do, your intentions. Everything you can think of is being tracked 24/7 and basically sent to their AI, to their servers, so they know what you think of. They know what you want. They know your needs. They know all the good things about you, all the bad things about you. And knowing all the good, they can try to mess it up. If you know that you're gonna have a free day and that's the perfect day for you to do something that you always dreamed of doing for like a whole month, they'll make sure they can set up something on that day to ruin it for you. If you have a dream or something and you have a specific thing you want to do, all your plans, they will try to mess it up so that you will not have that happy feeling. Because they don't want you to be happy. They want you either dumb down really in the negative place, but not too negative so you would not end yourself off. Because then yourself off will free you. So you have to be really bad, in a really bad shape, but not too bad where they can still keep you here on Earth and mess with you longer and get just feed from your loot. And there's another part. They know all the good things about you, and they know all the bad things about you. All your triggers, your fears, your concerns, all the things you have negative feelings on, and they will read those and pick up on those, and they will try to cause a thing again and again and again as much as possible. So if you're just like watching all those things that are happening to you in your life, you can start seeing patterns. You can start seeing how people talk to each other, and then something happens, and one gets triggered, the other gets triggered. Now they're having an argument. Or how you constantly want to do something, and it's like being stopped. There are patterns, and if you notice them, you can stop it all. Like just simple noticing them will scare them because like, oh fuck, we've been found out. So they will back off, and you're that powerful. So like all this whole research we are doing is really amazing for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is research. We're like, it's, groundbreaking for us. Especially putting it all in one session like this.
Yeah.
It's working really well though, huh?
Yeah. I mean, like, we start a session, and usually, like, I start looking, like, when it comes to entities, I start, like, scanning through my body, seeing if there are any clusters of entities messing with me, with my thoughts, with my feelings, and usually there are. And it's not just
Uh-huh.
50, it's not just 100. It's like sometimes in one of the last sessions, we got over 300,000 entities. Just the clusters, like, several. So, like, I
Mhm.
used the galactic vacuum to get them all out. And now I'm looking through my surroundings, and there are literally entities who are like more of interdimensional. Like they can be there out there in different universes and stuff, but they can sort of come here and have the cloaking system and like just monitor you, just be there, like not cause anything bad, but just monitor you and be like a transmissioner. So they will hear whatever you say, they will watch your actions and intentions, and they'll like post everything to their like like a snitch. Everything you're doing is being snitched to the higher up so that they could set up all kinds of situations in life to mess up with you. So it's a thing. It's a thing.
Yeah.
But I'm
And
glad we're.
go
Yeah,
ahead.
you go.
We normally start with an issue or a subject to address.
Yeah,
A condition, a worry, a concern, um, fear, behavior pattern. A want, a don't want. Uh, mm, you know, something. We start with that, and then we go from we talk about that, and then it goes into once she gets real familiar with the subject area, then we look closer at either is there a past life thing going on with that, or is there a more of an entity? This is caused by mostly entity stuff, or a past life thing got triggered, and then we just take off one path or the other. But then we meet back up somewhere. We'll go back and if we started with entity stuff, we'll go to soul contracts and revoking the agreements made, and then soul fragments that might have gotten lost
yeah,
due to this stuff. Or if we went to the past life regression stuff, maybe earlier and earlier past life regression thing, and then back to once that's done, any agreements, soul contract revocations can happen there. And then were there any entities that found a way to attach or get involved with you or her or me during that moment of trauma way back then, and they've been following you ever since? And then soul retrieval work, if some of your aspects of self got lost in the trauma, and then we kind of tie it up with the soul retrieval part.
good. Yeah, it's like there's a lot of process we do all in one session. It takes like an hour or even longer sometimes, depending on how big the issue is and how much there is into it. So,
Yes.
you deal with like little entities inside your body, you look through your surroundings, but most likely they usually have the higher ups the ones who are commanding them and like forcing them to do several things. So
Hmm.
the Greys, reptilians, targeting those, just getting rid of them, and like the whole system hierarchy falls apart, and now you're free of them. At least that one cluster, or the group that was messing with you. So I'm like noticing a lot of changes in myself. I'm like more aware of what's going on and how they're baiting us. This whole thing about baiting is like a new thing to us. Not a
Yeah.
new name, but it's a thing. Just
Oh
being
yeah, it
aware
really
of what
is.
stops you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What?
No, I mean, like being aware of their baits like stops you from taking them, sort of.
Yeah, yeah. It's really. It makes me think. We're past our 10-minute attention span, but we could wrap this up and maybe do another video about their tricks, and how they do what they do, and why, and how they're getting away with doing this stuff. And we'll talk about the baiting and the camouflage and cloaking and stuff in another video. What do you think?
Sure, that works.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you guys for watching this stuff. I hope you're getting something out of it, and it's helping you understand the phenomena. Um, and we'll talk to you again in another video about this stuff. Bye. Thank you, Akvile.
Sure.